But let's start with introductions first. Why don't you guys introduce yourself, and then we'll talk a little about, we'll diving into the core of the topic.
You go first?
Yeah, so, good morning. I'm Douglas. I'm the Global Vice President for Supply Chain for the Hershey Company. And I am very excited to be here for two reasons. One is I had the opportunity to meet some old friends here. And the second one, I was here a year ago. And when I came here with Van from my team that he's sitting around here, we were thinking about how can we make a bold decision to transform our company. And here we are a year later talking about being big, being fast.
Having done it. Excellent. Nitin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nitin Murali. I'm leading supply chain excellence at Gallo. And before this, I was with L'Oreal for about 14 plus years in different roles. I'm also excited to be here. This is also my old stomping ground, if you will. L'Oreal is literally like 3 blocks away, I think. So it was excited to come here, excited to see some old friends as well. And for me, Era kind of plays a really, really special role in terms of the vision that I have for Gallo. So I'm very excited to talk about that.
I think everybody knows your respective products. We like to enjoy them. I think doing a panel with chocolate and wine, not a bad start for the day.
Bad idea.
Not bad for a Tuesday morning, right? But let's talk a little bit about the complexity of your organizations, because to get the products at our dinner table, there's a lot of work going on. So maybe we start with you, Douglas. Talk a little bit about Hershey.
Look, there are 3 main reasons that we decided to do what we're doing. And everything starts with our consumers. And our consumers, they are somehow promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have what they want, how they want, where they want. And if you're not there, you just miss this opportunity. The second one is our customers. Now, our customers are more demanding. They want a perfect flow from the products to their premises. It's not like the old times that you just sent one full truck and that's it. Now you have to give them daily what they want, the location they want, how they want. And to cope with these 2 big complexities, we have a lot of data in our organization. They are great, but they cannot make sense of all this information that are coming to make timely decisions to cope with these demanding consumers and customers. So in order to deal with these 3 big complexities that we have to have decision intelligence to be the company for the future.
Okay. So when you talk about your customers, you're talking about the retailers. You're talking about the Walmarts of the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nitin, tell us a little bit about the complexity of your company. We like your product as well, but tell us.
Yeah, so Gallo is a family-owned organization. Our purpose is to serve joy in moments that matter, and we take that very seriously. We are known for our wines, but we also are known for our spirits now, and we entered the beer category last year as well. So we are expanding. We're also known for being on the best workplaces to work for.
Based out of Modesto, California.
We're based out of Modesto, California. And the complexity is real. We have over 250 brands, about 110 partner brands, and over 150 owned brands. And we engage in the 3-tier system. I don't know if everyone knows how the alcohol industry works. Yeah. So as a manufacturer of alcohol, we are not allowed to sell directly to a retailer or a consumer for the most part. So we can only sell to distributors, and the distributors can sell to retailers. So this is based on a 1929 law that's not going to change at all. But that gives us, of course, the opportunity as well as complexity to kind of deal with things slightly differently. And I think the way that we've been kind of trying to approach this is all around enablement. And I saw enablement on your slide, Fred. So, our 4 pillars.
You were paying attention.
Yes,
that's awesome.
I have to.
That's awesome.
That's part of my job. So, first of all, we're calling it value chain renaissance. It's important for us. Second of all, we have 4 pillars, all modeled around enablement. One is around customer enablement. Second is around stakeholder enablement. And stakeholder for us includes our employees. Third is around real-time decision execution. And funnily enough, we coined this before I knew about Era. So that was interesting. And the fourth one is about human-centric work design. So these are the four pillars, and I think Era kind of fits in very, very nicely within those four pillars.
You talked about the distribution in the United States, but you're operating across, what, 100 countries?
That is correct.
110 countries?
That is correct. So we are operating across 110 countries, and we also import products from about 8 countries. I don't know if you guys know La Marca, which is a Prosecco, which is quite popular. I think it's in 2023, end of 2023. It became the #1 alcoholic product in the United States in December.
Wow.
Beating Michelob Ultra. So that was fun.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But this is interesting. I don't know if you can share, and I suspect it's a private company. We can't share much numbers, but the volume, the size of the company is incredibly impressive.
Yes.
It's a well-kept secret.
It is a well-kept secret. I don't know if I can share those numbers with you, but I think what is interesting is the complexity around the types of products, right? So we have anything from your Barefoot, which is your less than $10 wines, to a Palmeyer, or an Orange Swift, which goes for $70 to $80 to $100 to $500. And we have coastal products, coastal wines, which are small volume kind of products. And then you have High Noon, which is kind of exploding in the ready-to-drink RTD space. So it's quite complex with regards to the operation because of that. And I think we also have a multi-echelon network, right? So we have our own manufacturing sites, and we work with a lot of contract manufacturers as well.
Largest manufacturer of bottles.
Correct.
Glass bottles. You make your own glass bottles.
We make our own.
Largest in the world, in the US?
In the US. So we have the largest glass manufacturing plant in the US. So regardless of what wine you probably drink from California, we have something to do with it.
Only drink French.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. That is not true. That is actually not true. I love California.
Partially true.
Okay, no, not true. So we can talk about it, but after. So let's dive in. We'll go back to you, Douglas. Talk a little bit about your DI journey. So I love what you said about being at Hub last year and not having started and being where you are a year later. I mean, I've talked about that story for both of you. This is why I wanted to have you both at the same time, because that really illustrates the acceleration. And that's a combination of your readiness and the technology. And you were able to bring that together to get some amazing results. So I don't want to steal your fire. So tell us a little bit about where you are, your decision intelligence journey.
Yes, and one thing that I see value here is share some of the learnings that we've taken, and I think you all can take as well. One is we didn't this by ourselves. No? So we had great partners. Era was a great partner to help us understand how was the journey to understand what are the matrix of easy to implement, high complexity, high value.
That's the roadmap I was discussing.
And we have Accenture as a great partner as well. So having Accenture and Era with us was a key enabler to go fast. Now, critical for us were, I think, 3 things. One is we always started with the problem, not with technology. No, and I've seen this.
Before you go into the learnings, I think it's important for everybody here online and in the room to understand what you've done. What are the skills that you've deployed?
Yes, so we started with 3 skills. We implemented supply chain loss prevention, and basically it's the balance between supply and demand, avoiding having out of stocks or over cash sitting in our warehouses or waste, even worse. No, this was one. The second one, we went for norm setting. So the different parameters between different nodes of supply chain, manufacturing and planning. So we plan with the same set of rules. And the third one was material loss
prevention.
Yes. So we have the opportunity here to expedite materials or delay or even cancel orders. So we don't have manufacturing lines stopping, or we don't have excess material coming, or we don't have waste. So these are the 3 ones that we took at first.
So we can see on the slide here, I think the results are just stunning. Talk a little bit, and then we'll come back to the learnings, of course. That's super important. But talk about the timing of your journey from you were here at Hub last year to where you are right now. This is really remarkable. We'll have the same question with you, Nitin, and talk about the results if you can.
Yeah, I can. And I just want to make sure that I'm recognizing some people that helped me on this journey. You know? So it's having our IS team being part of the journey with us. So our Chief Technology Officer is the sponsor of the project.
Yeah.
No, and I get a lot of times questions, hey, how do you work with IS? No, actually, we don't work with, they are part of the same project. And I have, I don't know if there might be people from our IS team here as well. Ali, Jean, others have been champions on this one. And my organization, I'm being champion on how to embrace technology. So it was about 90 days to have the payback. It was impressive to have such fast implementation.
We're talking about a very large organization, very complex organization.
We have
talking about 3 skills, and you just said, like dropping like this, 90 days payback.
Yes, so it's a
9-0.
$12 billion company.
That deserves a little bit of a, come on. They're jealous.
Look, it was the combination of being decisive, bold, have the right support from Era and Accenture, having my organization supporting. So it's impressive.
So the measure, how do you measure the results?
So that's the great thing about this project. No, differently from many other projects that you see things happening, but you can't really track from the actions you're doing. With decision intelligence, I can track by day, by user, by click, by skill, what's going on. And I can use it to understand change management. So I can go, Fred, yesterday you had a recommendation. You didn't act upon it. And we missed an opportunity to save $50,000. Why? And then we can learn, retrofit, both for change management or to understand the reasons behind it. No? So it's very trackable. And this is why finance loves the project, because they can see actions coming every day.
But you and I were chatting briefly before we came here, and you were saying that yesterday you had a meeting with your, I don't know if I can say that, can I?
Yeah, I can.
I don't know.
So,
you say what you want.
Look, when you have your finance team coming in saying that this is the best in class or a fantastic project, no, because this is implemented fast, giving fast results and easy to scale. So this is the dream project, no? So, and having this from finance means a lot.
Yeah, congratulations. So we'll come back to the learnings. I want to absolutely dive on that point. But Nitin, talk about your implementation. Talk about what you've achieved, and again, similar time frame. So that's why I'm so excited. But talk a little bit about what you've done first. What problems have you tackled?
Yeah, so we wanted to go straight to where we can clearly show some quick wins. So we went with the logistics side. I thought freight savings would be a great area to tackle. And just like Douglas, very, happy that we had good folks connecting with us to kind of internally at Gallo. Corey Battaglia, who is leading logistics, he had a really, really great vision for that space and for that ecosystem, as we call it. So we started off with 3 skills within that space right now. So we went after dynamic order fulfillment. We did stock rebalancing. And we are in the process of doing dynamic safety stock as well. And we have more skills now planned after that. And I think what is interesting with this is just like what Douglas said, we immediately saw savings, almost like $500,000 worth of savings year to date so far. And we are also going to see a sizable reduction in working capital with the dynamic safety stock implementation as well. And I think this would not have been possible without, again, the partnerships that we had with both Era, and for us it was EY. I think Harrison is sitting there in the back, and he's going to be speaking later on. But very, very happy to have had that partnership with people who really understood what we were trying to do, but also guided us in the in the right way. I think the best thing about this is if you didn't have your problem defined, you can't move forward. So there are a lot of areas where decisions, you don't know what decisions you want to make. And I think where we started, it was very clear what decisions we wanted to make. And we kind of, instead of boiling the ocean on data, we said, what are the inputs that are needed to make this decision? Let's make sure that there's clarity around that. And that worked in our favor.
And both organizations, from our vantage points, you were both very deliberate about your intentions. That's exactly what you've said. You aligned the teams and you were able to execute. Now that's great. That sounds fantastic to be able to start the project in those conditions. Now, talk about adoption. Because you just touched on that. And now it's a real discussion, both of you, whoever wants to go first. But the system will deliver recommendations. Some of them will be automated. Some of them will be going in front of the users. How did you drive adoptions with the end users? Who wants to go first?
I can go. I think the adoption has been, first of all, fantastic. And it was also because of the fact that we leaned in on change management from the very beginning of the project. And we almost we did it in sprints. So when one of the great things that I like about the agile methodology is if you bring people along the journey from the get-go, they get to kind of really go through that process from the beginning.
You got the input from the end users.
Exactly. Not just the inputs. Yeah, it's not just the input. They got to feel it, touch it, feel it. Of course, the inputs were very important, but there are also folks there who were not fully aligned on where we were going. But when those folks finally got to touch it, feel it, and see what difference it could make in their lives, the adoption became quite natural. So for us, it was, we're seeing it, more and more where I want these folks who are, with the skills deployed to spend most of their time in Era, right? So there's a human org design aspect of it, which is important to us. And for that, adoption is extremely important. So we're seeing that, and we've gotten really, really good feedback, and people are actually, advocating quite well internally for this tool.
Douglas.
Yes, for us, implementing a AI project, it's something that is relatively new to the organization. So it was kind of expected to generate some fears. And we have both spectrum people that are really excited, hey, sign me up, I want to be part of this journey. And people saying, hey, Douglas, I'm seeing that this machine is becoming smarter and they will take my job. So it was important to have, one, the sponsors for the project. And again, I mentioned that our CTO, he brought some examples and tips from his time at Amazon on how to drive adoption. The other one is we have champions in our organization, and I have Keith, he leads the material management in our organization. He's connected today watching this session. So having people that are champions to make sure that people are speaking up on what are your fears. We have a lot of skip levels, small groups to understand, okay, so what's your concern? And then we go to explain what's in there for you. We have to answer this question, what's in there for you? And in our journey, because it's so sizable, the amount of value that we're generating, we never committed to have productivity on this project.
Yeah.
So we want people to embrace, to help us, and they are the champion that will deploy to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. Because we're not stopping in these 3 skills. We'll go way broader.
So let's talk about this. I want to make sure I keep some time for the learnings, but I have a quick question here. I talked a bit about the roadmap, and this is something that is keeping us busy, our partners busy, helping you build scale roadmap with the 2x2 effort value. So maybe stay with you, Douglas, on the roadmaps. I know you're accelerating your roadmap, you're compressing the time further, and it was already aggressive. Talk about where you're going next.
Yeah, so in 13 days, we're going for the next skill. We'll have 3 skills going live this next 2 months of the year.
So 3 + 3 by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, we'll have 6. So we're going for load optimization, the truck optimization for VMI. And this is a great skill because it starts with human out of the loop. you turn on, have savings. So excited because we have a lot of less trucks on the road, less carbon footprint in our network. So both great for savings, great for the environmental. So this is going live in 13 days. And then we have a skill for seasons. For our company, seasons is very important. 25% of our sales is related to seasonality for Halloween, Valentine's, Easter, and holidays. So we have another one coming for this one. And the third one is for order management. So touchless order. We have a lot of touches and rework in our orders.
You can talk to Nitin.
Yeah. So it's coming now. So this is for 60 days or 50 days. And then we
Speed
have,
is incredible.
next year, we have another 6 lined up. And we have for 27 another 6. So we have a roadmap for 6 plus 6.
I thought you CEO wanted to collapse the two.
Yes, that's the challenge we've been
I'm talking
challenged. No, it's a good one. So we've been challenged on what are the skills from 27 that we can bring in 26. So there are a few of them that needs to be built in sequence. You cannot swim before building your swimming pool. But there are others that you can. No? So we are looking for opportunities to.
It's amazing. The speed is just remarkable. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time and seeing the journey. We had that in our mind that your customers would be able to deploy skills at that speed. Nitin, talk about your speed and what's coming next.
Yeah, so just like Douglas, we have the next skill going live, I think this week or early next week. This week, yes. So this week, and we have about 5 to 6 skills behind that we are currently having conversations on. The idea is just, we start in the logistics space. We want to then connect it to the inventory intelligence space, and then finally take it to the planning space. So that's the way we are thinking about it, because from my perspective, to plan, you need inventory and intelligence. So, we're trying to kind of link it from an ecosystem perspective. So we're very, very intentional about not going with skills just to automate.
Yep.
Right. So this is very, very critical. The second aspect of it, which is something that we are starting to talk about, and I have Renee and Ambarish from our DSI team, who's here as well, who's focused on this roadmap, is also starting to kind of look at, because you mentioned about the stack collapse that could happen. And I see the same thing. I expect the same thing to happen. So we are trying to start looking at it from a products and platforms perspective. The products are going to be decision blocks that we can connect together from an agentic AI perspective. And for that, we need to be even more intentional with what are the decision blocks that we need. And because these decision blocks then become almost like roles within an organization.
That you have to work with, yeah.
Exactly. So we're starting to look at that from a 2027 perspective, and what that means from an AI agentic orchestration perspective for Gallo as well. So it's an interesting thing.
We had you guys in the office in Mountain View, 2-3 months ago, and discussed that. We're excited. So as we wrap up, Douglas, I want to come back to you about the learnings, because I know you got a lot to say on that.
Look, it's we started again with the problem, clarity on the problem and the opportunity, where we're spending money, energy, time, and then technology to support. No, the second one was to engage the organization, having explain the why we're doing this for our SC members, CEO, board, to our organization, to engage them in this change management. And then we have a clear vision on where we want to get. No? So we have the 6 skills plus 6 plus 6, and we'll not stop there. No? So we want to connect end-to-end on our supply chain. The problem we want to start to solve, that was my beginning here, was I want to address a problem for consumers and customers. So how can I get the signal when our consumers is grabbing our product? And this will give me the signal to flow everything up to our supplier. No? So this is our vision. And in the near future, we'll have agentic AI to help us to have this self-healing supply chain where agents can understand what are the problems, make sense, make decision, and trigger the action. No?
Don't help smiling, but I'm going to try to refrain my smiles. Amazing. Nitin, we're running out of time, but learning what, for the folks who are online or in the room, starting, not yet fully started, what's your advice?
There are a few things. I think the first is you need to work in spite of your org structures. That's
Okay.
one thing, because for me, if I look at decisions that we need to make in an organization, sometimes the organizational silos kind of stand in the way. And I've said this before. I've said like marketing spend is a supply chain problem. So the Era and agentic orchestration, decision intelligence, et cetera, gives us the opportunity to kind of connect those things together
Across the value chain.
across the value chain. But if organizations are thinking from the perspective of, oh, okay, this is marketing, this is sales, this is supply chain, you might miss that connection. And so that's a key thing. The second thing is around orchestration itself. I think supply chain generally has been looked at from a batch job perspective. There's these batch jobs that happen that push information from one system to the other. I think the future is asynchronous orchestration. And asynchronous orchestration means you need to be prepared for event-driven decisions to be orchestrated across your value chain. And the third thing is, let's start talking about value chains instead of supply chains. I think there's a benefit in really kind of pushing that idea through because it fits well with what Douglas also said. We are value first, so we need to go after that. And when you do that, you need to look at it from a complete kind of end-to-end perspective to really orchestrate properly.
I want to thank you both for your presence today, your incredible insights, being very transparent about your projects, which is easy when they're so successful, I guess. And thank you for the partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you.